Welcome to Dark Alchemy, where we stir the cauldron of chaos, roll the dice with reckless abandon, and dive deep into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. Whether you're a dungeon master, a curious newbie, or just here for the magic and mayhem, you're in the right place. From house rules to homebrew lore, interviews to epic campaign recaps, this is where D&D gets delightfully dark. Let's crack open a spellbook and see what we summon today. My name is Roy, one of the Dark Alchemists here. I am joined by the Dead Professor.
Hi, I'm Scott, also known as the Dead Professor, longtime player, DM, and enthusiast of all things role-playing.
I'm also joined by DM Evanson.
How you doing? Good to be here. I run their current campaign and many others.
Today we're diving into two of our characters, which is a bard with the College of Lore and a wizard who is a diviner mage. We're recording this on YouTube, and we're going to use the audio for our first podcast. If you're following us on YouTube or hearing us for the first time on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you find us a podcast, also please like and subscribe and follow. We're going to have weekly D&D content for our campaign, our homebrew world, and all Dungeons & Dragons rules, magic items, and such. To start us off, DM Evanson is going to tell us a little bit about the College of Lore Bard.
Yes, one of our players has chosen their subclass as the College of Lore. They are 5th level Bard currently, but jumping into the College of Lore, it is a Bard College of Lore of Click Secrets, and those secrets usually come from diverse sources such as scholarly tombs, mystic rites, and peasant tales. College members gather in libraries, universities to share their lore with one another. They also meet in festivals and state affairs where they can expose corruption, unravel lies, and poke fun at self-important figures of authority, which is very appropriate for our player who seems to be filling all those roles real well. And I feel in the time to come, he'll even do more.
So, Professor, why don't you go over some of Alaric Vale's stats and just kind of where he is at 5th level?
Yeah, so one thing to note, we do roll our stats in our campaign. We use 4d6 reroll ones, and then assign them as you want. So he did end up with a 16, which he bumped to 17 at. Well, he ended up with a 17. 16 or 17 that he bumped to 18, and then his first feat got him up to a 20. And his other stats are kind of middle of the road, 12s to 14s. He has quite a high deception. At 11, he took expertise in deception, and he took expertise in sleight of hand for his roguish ways, I guess. He reminds us regularly that he is not a thief or a rogue. He's a bard. He just happens to have a certain set of skills. Spells, he's gone with Blade Ward for defense at cantrip, and he's used that very regularly. Last 1 minute now, so he's thrown that up almost every combat. And then he's gone with Vicious Mockery as his attack cantrip, just went up to 2d6 damage, so it's a little more effective now. First level, he's got Cure Wounds, Dissonant Whispers, and Silvery Barbs, the spell I hate the most. And then he's got a couple spells from a magic item. He has the Macbermid Cittern, and I'm sure I'm not pronouncing the Gaelic right, but as close as I can get. That gives him protection from evil, Fog Cloud, and Cure Wounds again. Second level spells, he's got Cloud of Daggers, Detect Thoughts, Mirror Image, and Spray of Cards innately. And then he gets Levitate, Invisibility, and Barkskin from his Cittern. Third level, he's taken Major Image and Slow, which these we've just gotten, so we actually haven't seen these in play yet. So he's got a kind of nice spread of spells. He's got the classic Bardic, Dissonant Whispers, and Illusion. Detect Thoughts has come in super handy for his character. He's used that one probably more than anything. Cloud of Daggers also came in great in a fight. And of course Silvery Barbs has saved a number of us from crits.
So let's take a minute to talk about Silvery Barbs, the College of Lore, cutting words, and kind of how they interact. Dave, you're allowing Silvery Barbs in this campaign, but not everybody has it. So just the
Yeah.
bard has it. How do you feel as a dungeon master when Silvery Barbs is used to kind of like save us from these different crits?
It's annoying, of course, especially if there's multiple ways to counteract stuff. But luckily, I have ways to cast stun and such to players,
Okay.
and there's a balance. So
Players love Silvery Barbs until the NPCs have it.
That's
When
it.
No, that's
the
funny.
paladin
I
goes
guess, yeah.
and lands a smite, and the DM goes Silvery Barbs. Everyone's going to hate the spell.
No.
So
I did say that was one of the things that said. Even with the alternative crit rules, we said, as long as everyone's cool with it, whatever's good for you guys is good for me. Same
Goes
rules
both ways,
apply, and everyone said that's cool, and we'll keep it. And if it ever becomes a ongoing real problem, we'll get rid of it.
Yeah,
I think if everybody took it, it would be annoying. But in our group, I think we're mature enough where we're trying to make each character individual, and even as my wizard, I haven't taken certain spells that maybe would be common to a wizard. I've been trying to do some alternative stuff. Most of us really haven't jumped on Misty Step, where every single character is Misty Step.
Yep,
We're
I
trying to
stayed
have
away from that one on purpose. Yeah,
from alternative rules. So the College of Lore subclass at level 3, you get proficiency in 3 skills of your choice,
and it shows,
which was nice.
It's amazing how many skills he has proficiency in, or
half
half
proficiencies, right? Well, that's so half proficiency is his jack of all trades.
Sure.
And then, I mean, what has he got now? He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 proficiencies on his skill list.
That's
so
nice.
At level 5.
At level 5, yeah. So he's proficient in like half the skills.
Yeah, I like it.
It's pretty impressive. And then he has expertise in the 2.
So also at level 3, as a subclass for the College of Lore, you get cutting words. You used to learn your wit to supernaturally distract, confuse, and otherwise sap the confidence and competence of others. When a creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself makes a damage roll or succeeds on an ability check or attack roll, you can take your reaction to expend one of your bardic inspirations. Roll with the bardic inspiration dice, and that goes up as you level up, and subtract that number from the roll that the creature made, reducing the damage or potentially turning a success into a failure. So having played Baldur's Gate, I've enjoyed the cutting words because my character's a bard in that. And they make little quips in the game and like little jokes depending on a creature. And our bard has taken upon himself to also, on the spur of the moment, try to come up with little jokes when he does reduce an attack roll and make somebody miss. I thought all bards had cutting words, but it's only in the College of Lore. Yeah.
And he's got 5 times a day now at a D8.
D8's big. I mean, you know,
5 times a short rest, so he can
5 times a short rest. So it's a lot. He's trying to make a lot of jokes, and sometimes, you know, he falls short with his jokes, but he is trying. At level 6, he'll get magical discoveries. He'll learn 2 spells of his choice from cleric, druid, or wizard spell list. And also, a spell you choose must be a cantrip or a spell which you have spell slots. At a level 14, he has Peerless Skill. When you make an ability check or attack roll and fail, you can expend 1 bardic inspiration, roll the bardic inspiration dice, and add that to the number on a d20, potentially turning success into a failure. So that's the reverse of cutting words. So you can reduce somebody, and then at level 14. But again, we're at level 5. And what do you think, Dave? What do you think, Dave, of the way Ulrich's been playing? Because he has a little background, a little history about how his character's father is this big opera singer in the city of Lyon, and we're joking and playing off that.
Yeah, I think he's been playing it well, where he has doesn't want to live under his father's shadow of success, wants to get it his own way and, through his own art. And his father's very anti that, wants him to follow exactly in his footsteps. And more or less be his prodigy. So yeah, he's going about it right. He's avoiding all of that and staying to what's true to him. So I thought he's doing it well.
So let's
Some of the party is having great fun pulling his father into the story at various times,
yes.
much as he might want to hide it.
Yeah.
So what else on this character sheet, Professor? Maybe we'll take a look at the magic items.
So I went to his feats real quick
Yep.
because some of his feats have come into play really well. Inspiring Leader has done a great job of giving everybody temporary hit points.
Yes,
that's amazing.
His
Love the
character
temporary hit
level
points.
plus his stat, so it's 10 temporary hit points after every short or long rest. So we basically wake up every day with 10 temporary hit points.
And let me interrupt for my wizard. That's like a 25% boost at level 5.
Yeah.
So at the low levels, temporary hit points is very important.
Yeah. And then he has encouraging song, which allows the non-humans in the group to have heroic inspiration every day, because humans in the group obviously all get it every long rest, but he can give it back out. And heroic inspiration has saved our group more than once already.
Oh my lord!
From almost TPKs. Yeah.
When we remember it.
Yeah. And then he took the skilled feat, which gives him some of those extra proficiencies he's got.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And he does have thieves' tools.
He does. He is proficient in them.
And a sleight of hand of +8.
Yep. He went out of his way to be proficient in thieves' tools. So, and then magic items. All right. So he's got a ring of protection. He just picked up studded leather +1. He has the Horn of Bubbles, which is a first edition D&D item that Dave reintroduced.
Dave, Dungeon Master Evanson, is that a first edition item?
No, close to it.
It's horrible.
This cursed magical item radiates magic. In the hands of a bard, they actually use this item to their advantage. When properly blown by a bard, the horn emits a cone of bubbles 30 feet long with a 30-foot diameter end. Anyone caught in the bubbles is effectively blinded for 2d10 rounds unless they roll a DC 14 con save. However, there is a 5% chance that the horn backfires, sucks the bard through, emitting the hapless minstrel as a mass of bubbles. And when those bubbles pop in 2d10 rounds, the bard is irrevocably dead.
Small side effect.
Now, Dave, the question has come up amongst the players. Is that 5% chance a d20 roll or a percentage roll?
A percentage.
Oh, okay. I'll never use it then. He was willing to use it with d20 roll because he could use heroic inspiration to save his butt.
Nah, yeah, that's exactly why it's not.
Dave, is that the reason?
Yeah.
I was going to ask, would you prefer to roll a d20 and get the 1, or would you prefer to roll percentage and 96 to 100 is or 95 to 100 is the actual number? So I mean, which is worse? Like, is the percentage dice which feels worse to you, Dave?
I think the percentage feels like a better success chance.
So the d20 feels scarier.
I don't know. That and it prevents the reroll.
Prevents the reroll. So now, are you doing this because you think this cursed magical instrument of bubbles is actually fairly powerful? A 30-foot long, 30-foot diameter blind area is fairly big in our game, right? Or on a map?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'd be critical if he's in a situation he didn't expect to be in and he needs to survive or escape. It's a great distraction.
Yeah. And blind for 2d10 rounds is a big deal.
Yeah.
So in theory, if our bard got bubble-fied, how would we bring him back? There's no resurrection.
Luckily he's not the cleric. So
yeah, but you can't raise him. It says irrevocably, so I guess it would be a wish.
Maybe.
Okay.
No
body.
Let's body has just popped bubbles.
Yeah. Okay. Any other magic items? We're stuck on the bubble horn. Any other magic items?
Yeah. He's got a cittern and a drum. The drum is basically like a there's one for every class now. It gives him +1 to his DCs and spell attack rolls. And then he has the Cittern, which he just got, which is a really nice item. Instrument of the Bards, it gives him like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spells he can cast at 1 charge each. Yeah.
Let's go over those spells. Can you read them to us?
Sure. He can do Bark Skin, which is now AC 17. He can do Fly.
Okay.
He can do Fog Cloud. Protection from Evil and Good, which is disadvantage against Aberration, Celestials, Elementals, Fey Fiends, and Undead. And immunity to Charm and Frightened.
Okay.
Levitate, Cure Wounds, and Invisibility. That's a great add-on to a Bard spell list.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's
Gives
got
him a little more
diverse bunch of spells he can cast now.
I can see him falling off a bridge and whipping out the guitar and start strumming to get that levitate. Quick!
Strum fast.
Strum
Right.
fast.
Yeah.
Bunch of daggers.
Pile of daggers, a whole bunch of different costumes, a hat of disguise, types of haunting, and somehow
he has a lot of musical instruments.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's got like 6 instruments on him now. We're gonna have to give him grief about that.
Yeah.
I guess they're on his horse, or he might have a bag of holding. I'm not sure if he has that yet, or we're trying to get some bags of holding. But that's a lot. That's almost like a barbarian walking around with 6 or 7 different weapons, just ready to pick the one he needs.
Yeah.
Yep, and he's got daggers and a quarterstaff.
All right. So we do have a little background for Alaric Vale, and we will put up his picture. And if you're following on the podcast, Alaric is a handsome man, and his miniature has a nice white shirt. He's got a cool pair of pants with some brown boots. And really what stands out on his miniature is a nice bright cape. We had one of our friends, professional painters, paint this up. And we're going to take a minute to hear the background story of Alaric Vale.
Alaric Vale is the embodiment of a wandering bard, carrying an air of charm and casual elegance. He stands at an average height, lean and lithe, with the wiry frame of someone who thrives on travel and late-night performances. His posture is relaxed yet confident, as though he is always halfway through a performance, or ready to leap into a new adventure. His most striking feature is his flowing golden blonde hair, which cascades in natural waves just past his shoulders, often catching the light in a way that makes it seem kissed by sunlight. This golden mane frames a face that blends boyish mischief with a hint of worldly weariness, a combination that makes him immediately magnetic. His hazel eyes, speckled with flecks of green and gold, seem to dance with an inner spark, as if always glimpsing a story waiting to be told or a song yet to be written. Alaric's features are sharp, but softened by his easygoing demeanour. High cheekbones, a straight nose, and a perpetual roguish grin that he flashes with disarming frequency. His skin bears the sunlit warmth of someone who spends his days outdoors, and faint laugh lines around his eyes betray years spent among joyful company and tavern merriment. His clothing reflects both his refined upbringing and his love for the common people. He wears ornate bardic attire that blends rich fabrics and practical design, a long crimson coat embroidered with subtle musical patterns, a loose white poet's shirt, and fitted breeches ideal for travel. Around his waist hangs a well-worn leather belt holding various pouches, a coin purse that always seems lighter than it should, and a small flask for special occasions. Slung across his back is his treasured lute, its polished wood gleaming as evidence of the care he bestows upon it, despite his otherwise carefree habits. Often, Alaric's clothes are slightly rumpled, his boots scuffed from long days on the road, but he wears his imperfections with pride, as if they're badges of his free-spirited lifestyle. Rings of mixed metals adorn his fingers. gifts from admirers or tokens from far-off travels, and occasionally a bright scarf or feathered ornament accents his ensemble, a nod to his flair for the dramatic. Alaric Vale was born in the grand city of Lyon, a sprawling metropolis known for its towering spires and vibrant artistic culture. His parents, both revered musicians in the city's elite circles, expected him to follow the traditional path of fame and fortune within the royal court. His father, a famous composer, and his mother, a celebrated singer, made sure Alaric was classically trained from a young age, shaping him to be the next great musical prodigy. But Alaric's heart belonged to the streets of Lyon. He was drawn to the lively markets and hidden corners of the city where music was raw and unrefined. In these places, the melodies were imperfect but filled with passion. He would often sneak away from his rigid lessons to immerse himself in the sounds of street performers, listening to the ballads of love, loss, and adventure sung by common folk. Inspired by these experiences, Alaric began writing his own songs, blending the technical skill he learned with the emotional power of the city's unsung heroes. By the time he was 18, Alaric had made a name for himself in the taverns and markets, performing under a different name, Darius Windsong, to keep his prestigious family from knowing. He became known for his enchanting voice and his ability to weave stories into his songs, captivating audiences from the lowest beggars to the wealthiest merchants. Alaric began neglecting his studies and spending all his time in taverns performing, playing at dice, flirting with barmaids, and collecting stories. Alaric's father, in an attempt to encourage his son to return to the Bardic College and his studies, cut him off from the family's money. Not disowned, but being strongly encouraged to return to his studies of the words of creation and real performance. It was during this time that Alaric began having visions or premonitions that some of his friends were going to be a part of something important, and the story must be preserved for future generations. He doesn't know what it might be, but has a driving need to be there to chronicle it. Alaric Vale is the embodiment of a wandering bard, carrying an air of charm and casual elegance. He stands at an average height, lean and lithe, with the
That's some of Alaric Vale's background and info. We're going to continue onward with our next character, which is my character, Bertrand, the Diviner Wizard. And if you're listening to a podcast, his miniature is up, painted by a friend. He's wearing all blue trench coat. He actually has a wizard hat on. And let's talk about what a Diviner Wizard is. If I can find the proper page for my subclass. Learn the secrets from the multiverse. The Council of Diviner is sought by those who want to clear understand of the past, present, and future. As a diviner, you strive to be a part of the veils of space, time, and consciousness. You work to master spells with discernment, remote viewing, supernatural knowledge, and foresight. So at third level, we pick up the Diviner class as a subclass for the Wizard, and really one of my favorite things at third level. There's two features, but the first feature I want to talk about is portent. Glimpses of the future begin to press your awareness. Whenever you finish a long rest, you roll 2d20 and record the numbers. So I just record them on a piece of paper. Sometimes I'll keep the dice in front of me, but inevitably I'll just hit the dice and forget what I rolled. So it's better to write it down. You can replace any d20 test made by you or a creature that you can see with one of these foretelling rolls. You must do so. You must choose to do so before you roll, and you can replace a roll in this way only once per turn. Each foretelling roll can only be used once. When you finish a long rest, you lose any unused rolls. So what I'll do is I'll roll 2 dice, and maybe if I get lucky, I'll roll a 20. And if I'm not lucky, maybe I'll roll a 1 or a 2 or a 3. But it doesn't matter because I can affect the Dungeon Master's rolls. So if the dungeon master is about to roll, and again, we played this wrong in the very beginning. If the dungeon master is about to roll, I can say, wait a second, Dungeon Master Evanson, I don't really want to be hit by that monster. So maybe he rolled a 5. And then, Dave, you'll take that 5 and add whatever the attack bonus is. And it could be a miss. Or I can give my roll to somebody else. So Dave, what do you think of this feature of the diviner?
I mean, I found out about the diviner shortly before you really brought it up. And I started falling in love with it, the idea of it. And when you said you were going to play it, I was very happy to see it. Because I wanted to see how it would play out in the campaign I was in. I think it's very cool. I like the whole D20, beginning of a long rest aspect of it. It kind of gives that whole, I see into the future aspect. So it's cool. I like that, and I like how you're applying it. So,
in the very beginning, I did play a little incorrectly.
Sure.
It was once per session. And I was actually changing a roll after you roll. They said, "Ooh, I don't like the sound of a 20, so maybe we'll change it." But now,
I get it.
Now we caught it, and we're playing right. So some of the other abilities are Divination Savant, which just means you're going to pick 2 divination spells from level no higher than level 2, so level 1 or 2, and basically you're going to be able to add them to your list for the spellbook for free. So I picked, I think, Identify and Comprehend Languages, which I think are 2 I use a lot. And Comprehend Languages actually came in pretty handy once. I think some goblins were talking about maybe killing us. And I was like, Comprehend Languages. And what was that? Oh, it was Lizardmen. The Professor's Lizardmen. And Dave, I thought you played that as a Dungeon Master very well. Like the way you kind of, made them talking. Like, I think I hear something around the corner. That was fun. That was pretty fun. So at level 6, you get Divination Expert. When casting divination spells come very easily to you. It only expends a fraction of your spell casting power. When you cast a divination spell using level 2 or higher slots, you regain 1 expended spell slot. It must be a level lower than you expanded, no higher than 5. So if I cast level 2, I'll get a level 1 back. If I cast level 4, I'll get a level 1, 2, or 3 back. At level 10, I get the Third Eye, which means I can have dark vision, read any language, or see invisibility. And level 14, Greater Portents, which is now 3d20 dice. Instead of those 2d20, you're going to get 3, which is at level 14. But I mean,
third eye ability is huge.
The Third Eye, see invisible without
see invisibility is amazing.
Yeah. And then Greater Comprehension, read any language. So
that is actually big too.
We do have comprehend languages, but if Greater Comprehension is allowed, we are the Age of Secrets campaign. If we came across a long dead language that maybe not even magic could translate normally, maybe this might give me some insight then if we saw something written on the wall.
Yeah. I mean, there are things in this game that are locked behind. You're just not that level yet, because you'll get that ability that will allow you to read that thing that your deity is will lock on you or whatever. So yeah, that makes sense. I like that.
Yeah. So Professor, you want to go over my character sheet?
Yeah. So again, similar stats to the Bard. You have a 16 instead of an extra 14 that he has, so a little bit better than his stats. You have expertise in Arcana. You are proficient in History, Investigation, Perception, Sleight of Hand, and Stealth. You are apparently a sneaky wizard, even though the party has taken to calling you Bumbling Bert.
That's all. That's because I fell in the swamp in the sewer one time. Well, the stealth was some of the background in the world of Erendor, which is a homebrew world. There is a monarch's forest, and there's a lot of magical creatures in there. My family was going in there to explore with permission from the local government. And growing up, I had to be a little sneaky in there because I was only like a level 1 wizard. I didn't have anything like that. We had permission, and then there was an accident, and now my family's gone, and I need a wish spell to get them back. But
that's all in your backstory.
I like his backstory becomes more and more. We had, we were granted permission. Exactly. We were the great king has granted us permission. Will be the next
king. So.
And then you have Druidcraft as your starting feat. You have Magic Initiate Druid as your starting feat. So you took Druid Craft and Starry Wisp as your 2 Druid cantrips, and you took
that was
Good
part of my
Berry as your first
part of my
spell.
background. Yep.
Yep. Then other cantrips, you have traditional Firebolt, Mage Hand, Message, and Shocking Grasp. I think you have used all of them at this point. First level, Comprehend Languages, Detect Magic, Find Familiar, Identify Mage Armor, Magic Missile, Shield, and Sleep, and as well as a couple of ritual spells. Second level, Dragon's Breath has come in great. Invisibility and Mind Spike, which you used on the Harpies we discussed previously, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
And then third level, you have picked up Counter Spell and Lightning Bolt, and you have as a ritual Lehman's Tiny Hut now.
So I wanted to stay away from Fireball. I thought Lightning Bolt, and with the initiative, I've been rolling. I don't have a huge initiative bonus. It depends what you roll.
Yep, you get a
I'm
3.
at +3, which is pretty good. But still, I feel like if I roll low, everybody runs forward, and then there's no reason to Fireball. So I thought Lightning Bolt might be a little more fun to play.
Just one thing about our campaign. So if anyone's looking at these and go, wow, those are really high hit points, DM Evanson has players get max hit points at levels 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
So it does boost our starting hit points. So these are a little higher than you would see on an average character, but that is a house rule Dave has, that we get max hit points on 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, and then from there on, they roll.
Yeah, and quite frankly, if it wasn't for that, we probably would have died at least once already. Because we have beat up pretty good.
As a house rule, I really like that. I feel like it's almost a necessity. If you roll, pretty bad, you could have like 10 hit points at level 3 of 15 hit points, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
for
bad.
A wizard,
yeah. Then magic items. Got this magical summon devil scroll. That's a source of contention for the party.
That's awesome. It's in there.
DM Evanson has just kind of wafted his way as a little gesture.
In an evil temple.
Yeah.
He cried out to the fallen deities and said, "Help me!"
and a scroll of summon devil came. Now, let's take a step back. It did come in handy.
Yeah.
What I like about the way the Amendmentson runs the game is there are some alternative solutions using the skill. So I have the Arcana skill pretty high. I had help with the 2 other party members who also had Arcana skills. We killed the Naga, and the Naga is going to come back in, was it 1 to 6 days or 1 to 3 days?
1 to 6.
1 to 6 days. Yep.
So, and the way to stop it was to put a magic circle of wards down. But there is no magic circle of wards to stop a Naga spell in the Player's Handbook of Dungeon Master Guide. So he said, using your Arcana skill, if you roll high enough, you'll be able to piece together something that will now contain this. So we took a couple of days to actually create this ritual. And at the time, I had a diviner dice of a 20, and I think the DC was a 30. And I could say, okay, I can foresee this was happening. I dropped the 20 plus 11.
You had a former diviner teacher there. You had guidance, and I think I said the DC at 30 or 35.
I think it was 30, and he ended up with a 35.
Yeah, it was something like that, or a 35. You got 38 or something like that.
Yeah. So, but I thought that was cool. That like, hey, I'm a wizard, and I'm even though I don't know the spell, I'm creating something new to help the world. And I thought that was really cool to just role play.
Yeah. You've got a Ring of Protection, Pearl of Power, a number of potions and scrolls, clairvoyance, water breathing, animate dead, protection from good and evil. There's some more magic on a couple scrolls, Featherfall, Fog Cloud, and then I thought you had more magic items. Hat of Wizardry is your other one, which lets you pull out any cantrip, which is a convenient one, right?
Yeah, it's an Arcana check. As long as you don't fail the DC of the Arcana check. And with my plus 11, I don't think I can fail. I'm not sure, Dave, as a dungeon master, if a roll
it's a DC 11, DC 10, and I think your Arcana is 11. Just don't roll a 1.
Okay, fair enough. Don't roll a 1. So this is I don't want to say it was from the 1977 cartoon. His hat is actually one up. He has a more powerful hat, but I kind of like the idea of reaching into the pointy hat.
Presto's hat, yeah.
Yeah, Presto's hat. Presto has an upgraded hat, but being able to pull into the hat and pulling out a cantrip. And I haven't used it too much. I think maybe I used prestidigitation once to clean myself up, but another character has it, so I don't really need it. And there was one or two things. I'm always looking, hey, what can I use? Even if it's just interesting or fun.
No, I appreciate that. Rather than just have a bunch of items you don't use, you're at least trying to become creative on how to use them.
Yeah.
Which I always enjoy.
Yeah.
And you have your enduring spellbook, which is your can't burn, can't get wet spellbook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's huge because the first adventure with like going through the mud and we're basically in a sewer.
I could imagine doing that in like a regular campaign where it's like you have a normal spellbook and it's just like, all right, it's wet, it's ruined, or say, okay, go buy a new book and new spells. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if like you're in the sewer, I could protect it. But if you're on a ship and you fall off and now you're in the ocean or underwater for an extended period of time, maybe, hey, I'm sorry, your spellbook's done. So I think the enduring spellbook is almost a must-have.
Yeah.
It's not an attunement, and if you're in a fire or in water, the spellbook lasts, and I think that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's based on my character. So Dave, what do you think of my character so far? Kind of in this world, how's he getting along?
He's getting along well. I'm curious on how he's going to develop as time goes on, and more things of power come your way, and how you handle it.
And we have. For our podcast listeners and our YouTube listeners, we have a little background for Bertrand Tharian Amarath, my full name, and we will listen to a little bit of his background story as read by the magic speaker.
Bertrand is a tall figure, standing at 6 feet 1 inch, with a lean, gaunt build of 175 pounds. He wears a deep blue robe and a wide-brimmed pointed hat, emphasizing his enigmatic presence. His intense gaze pierces through those who catch his eye, possessing a mix of wisdom and quiet menace. His rugged features, framed by a dark beard and piercing eyes, suggest a life spent mastering the arcane arts and navigating perilous adventures. Bert was born into a family of skilled and renowned mages, all of whom had a deep connection to the Veilbreak Forest. His parents, Mara and Elrad, senior adepts, were researchers and arcane scholars devoted to studying the forest's strange magical phenomena, planar rifts, and the powers the native creatures acquire. His sister, Lyra, a journey woman, showed outstanding promise as a sorceress from a young age, specializing in arcane manipulation and control. Together, the family had carved out a reputation as gifted magic users, trusted by the local orders, and occasionally sought out their knowledge on how to handle the forest's volatile magic. From a young age, Bert showed great aptitude for divination magic, a gift his mother helped him hone. He grew up learning how to read fate's threads, scrying the unknown, and predicting events before they happened. His abilities grew, and soon he was able to perceive glimpses of the future, a skill his family believed would one day protect them from the dangers of the forest. The family was conducting their usual research when tragedy struck. Bert had foreseen a dangerous event, a fracture in reality deep within the forest. But his vision was incomplete and distorted. His parents, confident in their abilities, decided to press on, seeking out the source of this instability, hoping it would lead to a new breakthrough. Bert, unsure of his vision's accuracy, reluctantly followed. Deep in the forest, something went horribly wrong. A planar rift, more powerful and volatile than they had anticipated, tore open, unleashing deadly creatures from another realm, possibly the Far Realm or the Shadowfell. His parents and sister fought valiantly, but were overwhelmed. The overwhelming magical energies of the rift incapacitated Bert, knocking him unconscious. When he awoke, the chaotic magic had consumed his family's bodies, leaving only the echoes of their final moments. He and his sister were not supposed to be in that forest. Bert blames himself for not reading the signs clearly enough, and for not stopping them from venturing deeper into the forest. This guilt fuels his obsession with divination and control over fate, pushing him to find a way to rewrite the past. He vowed that he would one day acquire the ultimate power, the wish spell, to bring his family back from the dead, no matter the cost. The Order of the Oak is deeply involved in maintaining balance within the Veilbreak Forest and sees magic like Bert's as potentially dangerous, especially if his actions interfere with their work of stabilizing the rifts. Bert's obsession with divination and resurrection magic, which could alter the fabric of reality, may put him at odds with the Order. The Order approached Bert and warned him to cease his arcane experiments in the forest. They may have learned about his attempts to gain knowledge of time manipulation, and they view him as a potential threat to the fragile stability they work so hard to maintain. A knight from the Order of Oak or Iron was a former friend of Bert's family and has kept an eye on Bert since the tragedy. They see potential in him and believe that, despite his obsession with his lost family, he can be a force for positive change if guided properly. Bertrand is a tall figure.
So, we're listening to this awesome story. I mean, all the stories are great. And Dave, you're just grinning over there as a dungeon master. What's going on? What are you thinking about how great this Diviner Wizard is?
Oh yeah, it's really.
I think there's something about permission and weren't supposed to be there, and don't seem like they go in sync.
Yeah. There's a guy who's vouching for you, covered for you.
Covering is the right word. So that's our bard and that's our wizard. We're going to do a recap each week, or at least for the next few weeks, of the rest of our party. We have 4 more characters to get through.
Unless something exciting happens in a campaign and we need to, bump the schedule.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. But this is going to be an ongoing story about the world of Erendor and the Guardians of Twilight, which is our adventuring group. And we hope you enjoy, kind of hearing how we play the characters. We're going to take a second to have some breaking news. Stand by.
Breaking news.
Oh, that's the wrong one. We have.
No, that was right.
That's the right one. Okay. Yep. So, Dead Professor is going to have some breaking news for us in the world of D&D.
So, some first time ever, D&D Beyond has published Sage Advice. They now have a section in the featured sources called Sage Advice and Errata, and it looks like this. It now includes your rules references, official rulings. It's all broken up. You have errata for each of the different books, whether there be 2014 or 2025. And if you go to the Sage Advice Compendium,
awesome.
They cover the 3 rule books. They give you errata for the 3 rule books, which came out last week, I think.
Great.
But they give you some compiled answers on Sage Advice and why Sage Advice matters. They talk about raw, rules as intended, rules are fun. So they cover a lot of little things here that,
that's awesome.
Might or might not come up for people, but this is new to the website. It just came out this week.
Okay.
So it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I missed that. Wow.
Yeah, I think errata is important. I think a lot of new players might have questions about how something's played, or they'll read it and they'll be like, well, this doesn't really make sense. And just have somewhere to go to that's official as opposed to going to a Reddit or a forum.
And they actually covered that in their opening here in saying what's an official answer. And they talked about how, why do you have Sage Advice when the DM could just make a rule? So they've said basically that the official rulings will be published here. Anything that's on social media is not an official rule, but it is a suggestion or advice, or it may be a preview of a rule that is coming. So whether it used to be Jeremy Crawford tweeting, I don't know who it would be now, but so those things are not official rules, but they are their suggestions on how they would handle it. And obviously, DMs are up. It's up to the DM to take those rules how they want.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, the golden rule is hopefully everybody should have fun, regardless of what's happening in the game. Everybody should, have a good environment to play in, and then the DM. And we said this once before with DM Evanson. There are some creatures in there that don't have certain abilities, and we've been playing Dungeons & Dragons so long, we might know what most of the monster's abilities are. So when you add an ability or something unexpected, it's kind of cool because it's something you get to explore again, and that's the DM changing rules in his world. But it's nice to have an official rule in an official area to come back to.
Absolutely.
And there are a couple new ones in here, so people can dig into this. Early like the so does all magical darkness block dark vision? It's a very specific question talking about magical darkness, dark vision, darkness, devil's sight, and the answer is no. Magical darkness is just magically created darkness unless the spell says otherwise. The darkness spell specifies that dark vision can't see through it, but other sources of magical darkness don't necessarily specify that.
Okay, so you might have a dark area that's just a natural or a magical. It's not the darkness spell. Yeah, right. Like they want a dark room, but it doesn't mean it's blocking. Okay.
Right. So it's just interesting. So they've added a couple new ones, So
I like that.
People should take a peek.
No, that's good stuff.
That's our news for the week. We'll continue to update you on any news that we come across. That's a great find, Professor. We appreciate that. So that's it for this week. Any parting words of wisdom, DM Evanson, about the bard or the wizard or anything?
I believe they're going to both need each other.
Yeah, we'll leave this little parting picture. We have the bard and the wizard. They usually hang out in the back. I'm casting some spells. He's singing his songs, and we're having a good time together. We're not allowed.
I'm usually behind the bard because he has a tendency to wander off.
Yes, and the bard and the wizard are not allowed to venture out alone. But I think that's more because Roy and Steven, the players,
that is absolutely correct. Roy and Steven are not allowed to venture out alone.
There are things in motion that have happened organically that are going to pull you guys together.
Oh no, a little cryptic dungeon master advice. So
there you go.
Well, this is a pre-recorded episode which will air on Sunday. We hope you follow us every Sunday morning. We're trying to keep up with the stream and the content to bring you some Sunday morning Dungeons & Dragons news, coverage about our campaign, and just talk about different characters and monsters and everything D&D. We also do various interviews during the week. Our next interview will be the Wednesday following this program with the Crit One and Done Boys. It's a local group of gamers who will be talking about their adventures, and they're recording and streaming too. And
they're doing a live play.
They're doing a live play. Yep, they do live play, and they've getting quite a following locally here. Our next convention is CradleCon, May 17th, 18th at the Cradle of Aviation Museum in Garden City, where we will have a table set up, and you can stop by and get some miniatures. You can follow DM Roy on Dark Alchemy on Instagram. You can follow Dungeon Master Evanson at DM_Evanson at Instagram. Adventures Wanted. Please subscribe to our channel. It really helps us grow. And we will see you next Sunday. Thank you so much for following, and keep rolling those dice.
Let the dice tell the story.
Let the dice tell the story. All right. Have a great day, guys. Thanks.
Have a good one.
Right.